Hello, everyone. A very good evening to all. Welcome to today's fortnightly session on understanding our environment and air pollution. We are delighted to have students from classes 8 to 12 joining us to explore how curiosity drives discovery and innovation. I am Muskan, your moderator for today's session. It's a pleasure to have you all here. Your enthusiasm makes these sessions truly special. For anyone new to our platform, let me introduce you to CAMP, the Camp and Awareness Mapping Platform. CAMP is an initiative of the CISR NISPER dedicated to bridging the gap between education and real life application. Our mission is to cultivate a scientific mindset among students while nurturing their hidden talents. Beyond online sessions, CAMP also organizes quiz competitions and exciting scientific excursions to places like CSIR, ISRO, and DRDO, allowing you to explore science in real world settings. Now, let's begin by welcoming our special guest, Dr. Poonam Arora, Senior Principal Scientist and Head of Indian Student Time Division at CSIR NPL, who is also the Secretary of the Indian Women Scientists Association, IWSA Delhi branch. Now, requesting her to kindly coordinate the session and introduce the speaker.
Thank you very much, Muskan. Lovely good evening to all the students who have joined us for this session. I hope you are enjoying the sessions being organized by Indian Women Scientists Association Delhi branch in association with CAMP. So this is the third lecture in this series, and we hope to bring you more. We'll give you a break of 1 week, and then we'll bring you another lecture on 11th of December after this. So before I introduce today's speaker, and I'm sure you are very much eagerly waiting to hear about the environment and air pollution, which is a very, very relevant topic, especially for those who are in Delhi NCR or in the northern region. I think down south the air is a bit better, but in North India, especially adjoining to Delhi and Delhi NCR, it's like really struggling with the air pollution, and we would really love to know what causes and how we can get better from here. But let me first share with you a few words about Indian Women Scientists Association, because that's our organization which is bringing you these informative lectures and the wealth of information that IFSA Delhi branch members are bringing to you, because all the speakers in this science dissemination series are IFSA Delhi branch members. So as you can see on the screen now, so we are Indian Women Scientists Association. So I'm presently working at NPL, but I'm member of IFSA and I'm secretary of IFSA Delhi branch. So IFSA is a non-profit, non-political charitable organization. It has headquarters in Navi Mumbai. It was established more than 50 years ago, and it has about 12 branches as of now. It's spread around India, and we are doing our cause of science dissemination. So we have about 2,000 members, life members at this moment, and we take science to masses. We develop scientific temperament. That's what we are doing through these lectures. We promote scientific accomplishments of women scientists and also try to help them in their causes and in their issues. And also we want to be a representative body for women in science and technology. And there are various programs run by IFSA, and you can go to the website mentioned here. The link is given here. You can access that website to know more about IFSA and its activities. So, okay. So with that, it's time, to start today's lecture. And I'm delighted to welcome Dr. Monika J. Kulshrestha, ma'am. She is a very senior and very accomplished speaker, and I'm sure you all will enjoy listening to her. Ma'am is a chief scientist and also professor in Academy of Scientific and Innovative Research, and she's working at CSIR National Physical Laboratory. She is a PhD in chemistry. She has a rich research experience of more than 24 years in the area of atmospheric chemistry. She has handled various national and international projects in various capacities in the research area of atmospheric chemistry. She has delivered invited talks on different platforms, coordinated various events. She has been felicitated with various awards and recognitions. So she's fellow of the Indian Geophysical Union. She's fellow of Meteorology Society of India. She's member of editorial advisory committee in Indian Journal of Geophysical Union. She's guest editor for the special issue on reactive nitrogen for the International Research Journal Current World Environment in 2021. She is also a National Poiscast Fellow, which is awarded by DST, and she has been has been awarded with International Young Scientist Award by IGBP Start Washington DC in 2001. And she has more than 100 publications to her credit, and she has this extensive experience in the area of environment and atmospheric chemistry, and we all are eagerly listening. So all of you, please call your friends also to join this informative lecture. So, ma'am, we heartily welcome you, and we are looking forward to your talk. So, the stage is yours.
Hi, Poonam. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you
Okay.
are.
Hi, everyone, and thank you, Poonam, for such a nice introduction. So let's now begin with the exciting journey of understanding our environment and air pollution. So let me share my slides first. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. Please go to the slideshow mode.
Okay, one second. Not showing here. Is it okay now?
Yes, ma'am. Perfect.
Okay.
Please begin.
Fine. Okay. So to understand our environment and air pollution, first of all, we need to understand the term air pollution, environment, right? What do we mean by the term environment, right? So what is environment? Environment is everything that is around us, right? It can be living or non-living things. Many of us have a kind of misconception that environment is only related to the living things, right? But in fact, environment is everything with connected with living as well as non-living things. And in the environment, there are several interactions going on continuously 24 by 7 between animals, plants, soil, water, and other living as well as non-living things. Then comes the environmental factors. So what are environmental factors? Environmental factors entail everything that changes the environment. So that change can be positive or that can change can be adverse or the negative, right? And environmental factors, they affect or they can affect the environment directly or indirectly. So why environment is important for us? Because environment plays an important role in the healthy living of human beings. So environment matters because it is the only home for us, which provides air, food, and other needs. And humanity's entire life support system depends on the well-being of the environmental factors. If environmental factors are healthy and good, then our environment is good and then we are healthy. So there are 5 basic needs of human beings from the environment that are being met continuously, which all of you know. Oxygen, the very first thing, then water, food, shelter, and warmth, right? Then what happens with the exposure to hazardous substances in the air, which are being emitted by vehicles or industries, for example? So with the exposure to hazardous substances in the air, water, or soil, and food, maybe through pesticides. So it leads to natural and technological disasters, and which in turn leads to the climate change in long run, right? Then to understand environment more clearly, we have two things, the cause and effect thing. So cause is the environmental aspect and effect is the environmental impact. So what is environmental aspect? Any activity we are doing within the environment, right? Whether it is good for the environment or bad for the environment, that is another thing. But any activity we are doing in interaction with the environment is the cause, and effect is any change in the environment due to that activity which is happening. It may be good or bad again. It can be partial or it can be in full, but that change is the environmental impact because of those activities. So to understand more clear difference between the aspect and impact. So what is environmental aspect? As I explained, it is the activity. So activity, what you are doing basically, the resource consumption. So every day we are just running the vehicles from here to there. So that is resource consumption. We are using the fossil fuels. Then again, in industries, we are using coal, we are using other resources. So we are doing the resource consumption. And because of this activity, what is happening? Resource depletion is happening. So that resource depletion is the environmental impact. So environmental aspects like, for example, resource consumption, waste generation, disposal, which we are doing on day-to-day basis. Then the noise pollution related activities, for example, if we are just, playing the loudspeakers during different celebrations for no reason, then different fugitive emissions. What are fugitive emissions? For example, maybe in your school, let me give you very simple example. In your schools, your teacher must be teaching you on chalk and chalk and blackboard. So that emission of that powder is the fugitive emission. Basically, it is an emission, but it is not being taken very seriously. Many a times when we take a print out, the fumes which are coming out of the printer, those are fugitive emissions. Those are in fact emissions, but they are not being taken on a considerable level. So those emissions also contribute to the environmental aspects. So all those activities, and then product packaging. For example, let me give you a very simple example. Sometimes the packaging is required and many times the packaging is not that much required. For example, if we take the example of toothpaste. So in toothpaste, your toothpaste is in your tube. So that extra packaging, that is the cardboard packaging over the toothpaste tube, is not that much needed or required. So that is still an activity and that is again generating a waste. And these activities are leading to different kind of pollutions: air pollution, water pollution, land contamination, and noise pollution. So environmental aspects and impacts, these are two things in the environmental, to understand the environment. And to have a clear example, for example, aspect is emission of carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide from different industrial emissions or vehicular emissions are leading to the environmental impact. For example, air pollution resulting in the destruction of fauna. Then we also observe oil spillage in different sites. For example, it can be a land or a ocean site, then land or water contamination happen with that. So that is the environmental impact. So aspect is the activity we are doing, like oil spillage is an activity. Emission of some gases is activity. So this is the environmental aspect. And what is the effect? That is the impact on the environment. So to understand what is environmental aspect and what is not, let me very quickly give you some examples. For example, waste generation. So this is an activity towards the environment. So this is environmental aspect. Material uses. For example, whatever material we are using, whether it is cloth, it is a cardboard, or it is a notebook which you are using or anything. So that is the activity, and then when we that material is being used for the consumption, so obviously again this activity is the environmental aspect. Then fuel uses, as I have already explained you, air emissions. For example, I have already given you the examples of SO2 and NOx. And then chemical consumption. On everyday basis, we are using the chemicals in our respective homes also. For example, daily floor mopping. For floor mopping, you are using the chemical. Some people are using Lysol, somebody else is using some phenyl, some kind of chemical is being used. Then even for toilet cleaning, some chemicals are being used. Even for taking bath, we are using different chemical related soaps. Everywhere we are using the chemicals, right? So that is again the environmental aspect. And energy consumption, like for example, your electricity consumption is your environmental aspect. So, what is not an environmental aspect? Let me give you an example. For example, improve air quality. So, improve air quality. It's not an activity. So, it is not the environmental aspect. And until the air quality is improved, it is not even the impact. So, what is it? It is an objective, right? Then resource depletion. It is an impact, right? Then vehicle maintenance, it is an activity, but it is not affecting your environment related thing. So that way it is not coming under environmental aspect, but maintenance may lead to the environmental impact that it will not pollute your environment. Then water pollution, obviously it is an impact. So with these examples, it might be clear to you that these are the different aspects, and these are not the aspects but different impacts or activities or objectives of environment. Now the question comes whether environment impacts us or we impact our environment. It's a burning question. Mostly we say, see, environment is so polluted, we are not able to go out, this and that. But who is actually polluting the environment? Is it us or the environment? So this is a picture where you can see the balance, or rather I would say the disbalance between the earth and the population. And you can clearly see that human population overweighs the earth, right? And then another thing is the technology. So with the development of technology, what is happening? Oh. Is it okay now? Hello? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So now here with the development of technology, again, the earth is overwhelming, or earth's environment is overwhelming. But does it mean that we should stop developing our technologies? No, it is not the case. Whenever we develop a new technology, or whenever we want to develop a technology, we must take care of the environment thing into consideration. That is how we can progress, and that is how we can take care of the environment as well. Now, this is the next example, like population. If you see here from 1800 to 2100, you can just see that developed regions have already kind of started getting a stabilized population factor. So at present, our world population, I would say, is around 8.2 billions. But in the developing region, still the population is growing. And around 2070, it will start getting stabilized, and the further increase in population might be at the stable plateau. So if you see this particular picture here, you can clearly see like Earth can easily support up to 2.5 billion comfortably human population. So which was the scenario until 1950. But after that, the population kept on increasing, and over 3 billion population, non-renewable resource depletion starts happening. Then over 4 billion population, then unsustainable growth rate started happening, which led to starvation as well. Over 5 billion population worldwide, environmental damage started happening, which we also can see in different natural and artificial disasters, which are happening every now and then these days. So again, here we see like how the environment impact our health. But with these scenarios, what I have explained to you, do you really think that environment is affecting us, or we are affecting the environment? We are impacting the environment actually, but we write it the other way. So because of this overpopulation and because of all these activities, because of all these environmental aspects, different things are happening. Air pollution is happening. Inadequate water and sanitation is because of overpopulation. Chemical consumption is increasing. That's why chemical production is also happening. Again, the radiation. Then community noise, you all know this. Occupational risk, agricultural practices, again, because of overpopulation, more pesticides, more GMO food we are getting. Then built environments means a lot of construction is going on. So in the long run, with combined activities of such kinds, in the long run, we are getting the climate change, which is a longer period term. Like we take average of 30 years generally to see a climate change. Then in the environment, if we see the air pollution thing, so you all know that we are getting this air pollution from motor vehicles. Again, when population is more, then obviously the number of motor vehicles are more on the road, and that is how we are getting more air pollution. Biomass burning, and especially these days during October and November, we are facing more pollution because of biomass burning in Punjab and Haryana regions. Then wood burning, because nowadays it is little colder in the northern part of India. So mostly people who stay on roadside or in slum areas, they try to keep themselves, in the heated environment. For that, they burn like whatever wood is available to them. And sometimes I have observed during the night time, they burn used tires and many other things, maybe the plastics. They don't leave anything, whichever is available to them on the roads, and which is again creating the pollution. So coal consumption by industries, and then biogenic emissions by plants, then these forest fires, industrial emissions, so many things are there which are the sources of air pollution. But again, who is responsible? We humans are responsible for that. Then with this air pollution, what is happening? The release of gases, which I just gave you example, SO2, NOx. Other than that, we are releasing the particles are also getting released in the atmosphere. So what is the common term used for those fine particles is PM 2.5 and PM 10. You must have heard these terms, PM 2.5 and PM10. And to have a glimpse of this PM2.5, PM10, to have a feel of it, I would just on the right side, if you see this structure. So this is the structure of a hair. And this hair is around, that is hair is human hair. Okay, so that is like 70 micrometer average diameter it is having. And with comparison to hair diameter, if you see PM10, this bigger spherical structure, this is PM10. And if you see another structure, the small spherical structure on that, that is PM2.5. And when you see the amplified structure of it, so this is PM10 and this PM2.5. And with comparison to here, human hair, you can see this one is the picture. So these are very fine particles which you can't see by your bare eyes. So what happens whenever you inhale or exhale? So then these PM10 particles go up to your thoracic region. So sometimes you might feel choking in your throat or something like that. But the particles between PM10 to PM2.5 to PM10, they go up to the tracheal regions. Then what happens? PM2.5 means more fine particles, they go deep into the alveoli, right? And if you see the comparison of this PM2.5 and PM10 with biological components, here you can see the bacteria size is almost in the range of 1 micrometer. Then virus is like, for example, 0.1 micrometer. So you can very well correlate the kind of infections we get during more polluted days, because these fine particles combined with some bacteria or viruses, they just infect us so easily during the changing weather, right? So now I want to show you something really good here. So here, if you see, I just shown you the picture of lung here. And if you see the picture of lung here, you can see a correlation between the lungs and the tree, right? So you very well know that what we breathe in, what trees breathe out, right? And they breathe in what we breathe out. So we are nature, we are one with nature. So nature has given us such a beautiful arrangement that whatever we are taking out or breathing out, that is carbon dioxide. Plants are taking it for making their food. And then what is happening? Whatever they are taking out, that is the oxygen we are breathing in, right? And if we see, this is a kind of forest, and if we just see it with the analogy of lung, so if we cut more trees, means we are damaging our own lungs. That's why it is given in the kind of structural lung kind of thing. But here you can see that correlation. If I would have shown you only one picture, you might have not been able to correlate it. But here you can see very clearly what we are breathing in, what we are breathing out, trees are breathing in. So here you can see, if we are cutting the trees, that means we are damaging our own health. We are damaging our own respiratory system. So now you can say what we can do about it as an individuals, because most of us, we think everything government has to do, and what government is doing to do the needful for our health, for us. But as responsible human beings, or as responsible citizens, or as responsible environmentalists, because all of us are environmentalists in a way that we are all connected to the environment. So it doesn't mean that if you read about the subject environment, then only you are environmentalist. all of you are environmentalists because you are all connected to the environment or the nature. So I will give you just a very quick example. For example, what you can do. You can say that we cannot, plant tree, or maybe it is planted on some particular occasions on the environment day, or maybe when our teacher asks us to do that. No, it is not the case. You can do those activities whenever these are done as a per requirement, but as an individual, what you can do is you can always uh, uh, plant more trees. For example, this is the concept of beach balls. What happens, like you take some clay and you put some compost inside it and you put some seed inside it and then make balls of it. And wherever you go in fields where you think they might grow easily, where mowing or some kind of thing is not happening, where other human activities are not happening, and where you think it is the good environment to for a tree to grow, you can just throw those balls before the monsoon. And then what will happen, like whenever monsoon comes and with the touch of moisture and other things, then it will start growing by itself. So you don't have to like dig a hole or something like that, or you don't have to do other activity. You just throw those balls, and these are called beach balls. So as individual, you can always help in planting many trees like this, right? Then here I want to show you very interesting picture. This is what nature has given us: a very clean water, right? And greenery, blue clear sky. This is what nature has given us. And this beautiful flora and fauna. This is what nature has given us. And in return, what we have given to the nature. Please see this. Many of you must be going to the tourist places and you might be seeing this kind of scenario. And then again, you might be thinking what government is doing to clean up this place. So as an individual, again, it is our responsibility that we should not throw any bottles or garbage in such areas. That is what the least we can do, right? Again, you see one more picture. So here you can see as humans what we are contributing to the nature. With the example of tree and lung, I showed you that we are one with the nature. But here, nature is giving us everything good, but what we are giving to the nature is totally different, right? See one more situation over here. What is happening when we are throwing plastic bottles or bags or anything? So over the period of time, the soil get deposited over that garbage, and in the long run, what happens? A plastic layer is formed inside, right? And when this plastic layer is formed, what happens? The rainwater stops going down. It prevents the rainwater from going down. And nowadays, you might have also observed while going to the school during monsoon season or while coming back, even the smallest of the rain makes the waterlogging happen. And this is because of these things which have been unforeseen at that point of time, but this is happening, right? So again, we need to be responsible human beings, and we need to take care that we should stop using our plastic bags to protect our environment. And as an individual, we can use the metal bottles, and as an individual, we can always use the cloth bags to buy the stuff from the market. But now you may say, if the vendor is giving, so why should we say no to that? But you can always say no to that, because once you start saying no, then production automatically will start decreasing, and you will become a responsible human being to be participating in the protection of your own environment, right? Same is the example with the food. Many of us, we are having lot of food, right? But at the same time, what is happening? We are wasting food because the food is available to us in plenty amount. But we forget to foresee that many people on the roads, they are not even able to get food. And one fact is that in India, so whatever production of food is happening every day, it is double the amount of the population. Like it can easily feed the whole population of India. More than that, we are producing. But what is happening? That it is getting wasted. So the remaining food, whether the remaining food either will go in the garbage or somewhere else. So again, you can see that you should not waste the food as an individual. You can also see, like for example, when you are celebrating your birthday, suppose if you ordered, a lot of food, and some part of food is remaining, you can always go to the nearby areas and you can distribute that food to the needy people. So that is how you can contribute as an individual towards a good environment. See, in Norway country, what happens? Like whatever farmers are there, if they have some spare fruits, they just hang it outside their boundary so that any needy person can take it so that it doesn't go waste. So in India we can't do that much. We can't afford that much as individual, but we can always, contribute towards these stopping the wastage of the food, right? Similarly, the water things come. So many a times people they will just keep their taps on for no reason. So again, if you see the scenario here, in present situation, maybe you are taking the bath individually, but that future is not far away where you might have to take the bath in this way, or maybe you will not have enough water to take bath collectively as for your family. So again, you need to save water. So you need to save food, you need to save water, and you need to save the air also by planting more trees. And how can you save water? Like for example, it is a example where in Japan, this hand wash is just planted or installed in just above the tank. So then that water is being used. So maybe you can say, you can have an excuse, okay, this kind of facility is not available in India, what we can do as individual. So whatever, like you must be having the ACs in your homes, like for example, uh, water is getting dripped from those ACs. You can always collect that water. You can just you can use that water for washing your balconies and other stuff. Then even RO water, many people are using RO machines. Again, that wastewater can be used for mopping the floor and other things. So there you can always save water. So as an individual, again, you can become responsible enough to save that water. Right. So nowadays, because this generation understands the language of WhatsApp, so I found this interesting thing. Like Earth created group Earth, then Earth added rain, right? Earth added trees, Earth added animals, right? And Earth added man. Now man is the admin. And what happened when man becomes the admin? What happened? Man removed trees, man removed animals, and then rain left. Right? So this is very easy example of telling the contribution of nature to us and contribution of human beings to the nature or the environment. Then now I will give you very quick scientific examples also. For example, you now know, because in my earlier slides, I showed you that how sulfur dioxide, NOx emissions are damaging the fauna. So then industrial emissions, vehicular emissions, what is happening? Like NOx emission in clouds is making like nitric acid and SO2 in addition to this moisture, it is making sulfuric acid, right? And it is leading to acid rain, acid snow, right? These kind of things, and acid particles and gases, which are harmful to the nature, because soil will get acidic, water will get acidic, and then even if we take bath or if we use that acidic water, harmful that will also be harmful to our health. So in our research, what we found, like now I am giving you the real example of our research, what we have done. And from here, you can also find like how doing a responsible research also saves you as well as your country from, you know, intrusion of other people's or other countries' comments, or maybe the scenario, because sometimes the scenario is totally different in India and other countries. So I will just give you the real example of real research. So it is the example how important it is to do atmospheric chemistry research in Indian scenario, and how it is different from the other countries, Western countries, right? What is happening? Okay, all of you know what is pH. And in general, I can say I don't want to go into a detail of it. Just pH is like neutral at 7. And below 7, it is always like it is from the scale of 0 to 14. And neutral pH is generally considered as 7. And then acidic is below 7. And basic is from above 7. But when it comes to rain, then natural pH of rain is considered as 5.6, right? So why it is so? Natural pH, or we can say the neutral pH of rainwater, is considered as 5.6, not the 7. Because like in the atmosphere, we are having lot of carbon dioxide. So in clouds, what happens? Like at equilibrium, that CO2 gets dissolved within that cloud water and it makes carbonic acid. And because of that, uh, it becomes slightly acidic. And that's why we consider it is a worldwide scenario. So it is the universally acceptable or universally considered fact that neutral pH of rainwater is 5.6. Above 5.6, it is called alkaline rain, and below 5.6, it is called the acidic rain. So in India, what happens? Like for example, suppose sulfate, yeah, like SO2 is making sulfate, and then you can get sulfuric acid here. But again, in the air, we are having lot of calcium carbonate particles. Where calcium carbonate is coming from? It is coming from the soil. So we have सस्पेंडेड एयर डस्ट पार्टिकल्स. आप लोग बोलते हैं ना बहुत डस्ट है इंडिया में, बहुत ज़्यादा. आप नेक्स्ट डे भी आप देखते हैं कि जरा सा आप टच करेंगे तो बहुत सारा डस्ट आ जाता है. तो this dust, I would say, is good for our country. It's a boon for our country. Because when this dust is suspended in the air, so what is happening? This calcium carbonate in association, in reaction with this H2SO4, it is making calcium sulfate here. So in the presence of moisture, this SO2 and is making like from calcium carbonate, it is getting converted to calcium sulfate, right? So which means कि again calcium sulfate is a neutral molecule. So it will not add to the acidity of the rainwater. So in Indian scenario, rainwater pH is always more than 5.6, which is alkaline. But again, there is a scenario where is no dust or no calcium carbonate is there. So again, here what is happening? SO2 is directly getting converted to H2SO4. And this is the scenario in most of the Western countries. For example, Northern America and Europe, for example, right? So there you don't see dust at all. And because of that, mostly in Western countries, we face acidic rain events, which is not the case in India. And here I tell you the real example. Like, for example, few years back when we did our study over Indian Ocean as well as Delhi, that time we came to know about this fact that over Delhi the calcium was very high, but over Indian Ocean calcium was very less, so it was unable to neutralize the sulfate and the nitrate over the Indian Ocean. That's why we faced acidic rain over Indian Ocean, but in Delhi the rain was alkaline in nature, right? So, unfortunately, the soil of India, in India, you can see the soil is itself alkaline in nature, except few regions. Like, for example, this black region, which is very small region, like here, like on the Kerala coastal side, and here in Orissa and Assam, some parts of it. So only very few limited regions we have these acidic soil itself. So because of that, these are called sensitive areas where the nature of rain itself will be acidic, because there is no calcium carbonate available there for neutralization of the pH of rainwater. So these were our study sites, and few of them we have taken from other studies also. But when we saw the scenario, for example, over Indian Ocean, because where there is no soil at all, like more than 90% events were acidic in nature. In Jorhat, where I did this study, again more than 52% scenarios were acidic. There is no particular, industry over here. But what is the reason? The nature of soil is acidic in this region, and also the soil, whatever is available in nearby areas, because there is a lot of tea plantation, and because of that, that area has, kind of lot of vegetation. Because of that, loose soil is not available. Okay, again, this is the case in Nandan Kanan, Orissa. Then, but Sardhana and Panipat, these are having high deposition areas because these are industrial areas, right? In Delhi, and then again, Hadgade is also a vegetation oriented area. But other areas, if you see Bhubaneswar, Hyderabad, here the acidic rain events were less, relatively less to these areas. Indian Ocean, you can see there's no industry, no nothing. But because the lack of the availability of the calcium carbonate or the soil particles, and because of the availability of because SO2 and NOx can go far away, but calcium carbonate or those particles cannot go far away because they are heavy in their weight comparatively. They are called coarse particles, and then the fine particles SO2 and this NOx, these gases, when even get converted to sulfate and nitrogen, they are fine particles. They can go to far distances, and that is how they can create this scenario, right? So in India, what happens? Acid rain do occur, but under the following conditions. Because otherwise you can say ki it doesn't happen in India, but it happens very rarely, but in specific scenarios. For example, if the rain is continued for a long time, then what will happen? That soil dust will get settled. Then there might be few events of acidic rain. In vegetation covered areas, I have shown you the scenario. For example, Jorhat or Hadgade, I have given you those examples with the real situations. Then in areas where soil is acidic itself, again I showed you the Jorhat example, and near heavy sources of SO2, thermal power plants or any other plant or industrial area, I have given you those examples as well, right? Now I show you the variation of sulfate with pH and how it is related. For example, in USA, this is the USA and this Sweden, Europe, and this is the example of our own country. So here you can see higher the pH and lower is the sulfate. So there is a direct inverse effect. Here again, higher is the pH or lower is the pH and higher is the sulfate. So which means, and but this is not the scenario in Indian sites. What is happening in India? Like even at high pH, sulfate is also high. That relationship is not inverse. That relationship is positive. Why it is so? Because in India, what is happening? This sulfate is calcium sulfate, which is not contributing to the acidity of rainwater. Again, I show you this example is from Diwali episodes. When we took some samples during Diwali, and when we saw the concentration is very high for some particles, like it goes very, very high. This is the Diwali day. Day 3 is the Diwali day. Here again, you can see Diwali day. Because in the firecrackers, many salts of potassium, magnesium, and barium are used to provide them different colors, right? And because of that, emissions of these particles become very, 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 very high. You can see the concentration is very high. And what happens that this will again, after 1 or 2 days, it will get deposited. Now you can say, okay, this is coming down after 4th or 5th day, but where is it going? It is getting mixed with the soil. It is getting mixed with the your water. So water contamination, land contamination is happening. It will affect your crop yield also in the long run. So we must stop the firecrackers. As individual, we can say it is our individual responsibility, because what will happen, for example, if we continue all this, and we can think that you know Diwali is a festival of firecrackers. It is not. It was never a festival of crackers. It was a festival of celebration. It is a festival of diyas and celebrating together with sweets, right? बट इट वॉज नेवर ए फेस्टिवल ऑफ फायर क्रैकर्स. आप अपने घर में अपने पेरेंट्स से बात करिएगा, पूछिएगा उनसे क्या जब भगवान राम आए थे अयोध्या वापस, तो क्या किसी ने फायर क्रैकर्स बंद किए थे? नहीं किए थे. लोगों ने खुशियां मनाई थी, एक दूसरे को मिठाइयां बांटकर और दिए जलाकर. So that is the festival. Actually, that is the original way of celebrating the festival. Firecrackers were never in picture. So please take care of these things. If you can stop using the crackers, that will be a great contribution to the environment health. And when environment is healthy, obviously, you are also healthy. And this one particular slide I want to share with you is that even in the Constitution of India, Article 51A talks about the fundamental duties. And in that Article 51A, the component G says, so what is it about? It shall be the duty of every citizen of India. Then G component say, it shall be the duty of every citizen of India to protect and improve the natural environment, including forest, lakes, rivers, wildlife, and to have compassion for living creatures. That simply means that it is the fundamental duty. It is not the fundamental right. So, from today onwards, as an individual, what we can do to protect our environment, we must do, right? Without waiting for others to do something about it. As an individual, we must feel responsible for ourselves, and because when we love ourselves, that means we are ought to love our environment. So once we love and respect our environment, we will be automatically and naturally taken care of. So I would say save the environment to save yourself. Right? Thank you so much for your attention. I hope you got little bit of knowledge and the kind of responsibility by this particular talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Monica ma'am, for such an inspiring and insightful session. Your words have truly left a lasting impact, and I'm sure our audience now a much clearer understanding of how curiosity and scientific temperament can shape remarkable career paths. We will now begin the question and answer session. If you have any doubts or want to explore more about the topics we have covered today, now is your chance. Everyone, please turn on your videos and virtually raise your hand. We will connect you one by one to ask your questions directly to Dr. Monica ma'am. To all participants, please turn on your videos. Or raise your hands for any doubt. Is there anyone who wants to ask?
Everyone has understood it very clearly
It
and
seems. Yes.
looks like no question. Whether it was interesting or it was so boring that no one understood it. So I am doubtful about it.
Actually, it was very interesting, ma'am.
I try to make it simpler from students' point of view. I did not want to go so deep into the scientific thing so that, uh, things are easily understandable for all of them.
No questions at all.
Great.
Okay, so we have limited time. If anyone have any question, please share them with us at info@coim.org.in. That is also available in the chat box. We will share them with ma'am and get back to you. Once again, thank you so much. Thank you all for your enthusiasm and participation. And a big thank you to Dr. Monica ma'am and Dr. Poonam ma'am for sharing your wisdom and experiences with us
Thank you so
today.
much. It has been a pleasure to be with students and especially the younger minds. And whatever questions are there, I would be happy to answer even after this
Yeah,
talk.
I think maybe they're shy or something, and or maybe a hurry to leave. Some of the whole classrooms were sitting. I saw that, so I'm sure the actual number of beneficiaries of this lecture is much more than the actual number of participants that we see. But in any case, I would like to thank Monica ma'am for such an insightful talk on a very pertinent topic, and it was really nice to hear you on and your words of wisdom on this
Thank
topic.
you so much.
Thank you so much for taking out time and for giving this lecture, and I thank the CAMP platform for giving the opportunity to IWSA Delhi branch for disseminating science in such a nice manner to the young architects of our country. So, with this, thank you to all the participants as well. And I would request you to keep checking for all the lectures being organized by IWSA because they are very informative and all the accomplished speakers are giving such informative lectures. So, do make use of this opportunity and also publicize it amongst your classmates and friends. And we have the next lecture on December 11th. So we are having 1 week break, and we hope to bring more of such informative lectures for you in future. So thank you, everyone. Have a nice evening. Thank you.
To all participants, the recording of this session will be available on your CAMP NASA login panel. For any further support, feel free to reach out via our website, helpline, or social media. Before we conclude, we request you all to take a moment to fill out a quick survey form. Your feedback helps us improve and serve you better. You can find the feedback link in the chat box. So, thank you everyone for being a part of today's workshop. Stay tuned for our next exciting camp session. Until then, keep exploring, learning, and applying these strategies in your lives. Have a fantastic day, everyone, and we will see you in the next session.